This week's episode, Give Me a Minute, number 5. It's not so much a drum beat that I'm featuring this week, but a style, a mood, and that mood is macabre. And in the spirit of that, I'm here at the Edgar Allan Poe Cottage in Fordham, the Bronx, New York. Edgar moved here with his wife in the late 1840s while she was suffering and eventually died from tuberculosis. And then he left and went back to Baltimore, where a couple years later he died from alcoholism. Edgar was an interesting man. He wrote many short stories. He was actually the first person to write short stories. He was the first person to, they think he invented the detective genre, and he was the first well-known writer to make a living solely from writing, hence his lifelong poverty. But you got to respect that. The man gave it a go. He had other jobs. He was a publisher. So he didn't have to make that sacrifice and just become a writer, but that's what he did. And he was a troubled genius, plagued by possibly mental illness, definitely alcoholism. Died at 40. He was a young man. It's hard to imagine him living. If you look around now and you're like, it didn't look like this, obviously, in the 1840s, but pretty cool, right? A little bit of history. He was paid $9 for the Raven. $9 for the Raven. Obviously, his other works: Murder at Rue Morgue, Telltale Heart. There's one about a worm. A lot of works, too many to mention. But if you're a fan of the short story and you're a fan of the dark and macabre, then do yourself a favor and get everything written by Edgar Allan Poe, one of the greatest writers of the 19th century, arguably one of the greatest writers to ever live. And when he was living, he lived here. Episode 5, Give Me a Minute.